Hey everyone, and welcome to the Velvet Room, because today we are talking about Persona 4, which was recently released for the Switch this year. And if you're wondering if you should play Persona 4 in the present, then maybe you'll want to watch this video. Of course, I'm biased because I absolutely love Persona 4, and I wanted to talk about it because it is one of my favorite games of all time. And this channel has been about Final Fantasy X, but this is really far up there and we should talk about it. All favorite games are not born in a vacuum. It is in a very specific time and place. So for me, I came across Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. I actually got the Vita for free. It was a student bundle when I got one of their laptops, and it was one of their last runs before they stopped producing any laptops. So I got one of their last ones and a Vita came with it. I have no idea how this had to do with being a student or with studies, but I was very happy to take it. So since I got this brand new Vita, I was wondering what I could do with it, and I saw that Persona 4 Golden was raved online as the game you should play if you own a Vita. And so those were my expectations going into the game. I came across Persona 4 Golden in December 2013. I remember that moment acutely because I was going to graduate from college at the time. I was in a city I didn't know. I had only gone to that college for a year and a half. It was a commuter college. I just went to class and I left. So there were no friends. I was in a long distance relationship with Stefan, and my apartment that I stayed in was very lonely. I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have a job, and I was terrified of the job search that was soon going to come. I played Persona 4 Golden in the dead of December. The nights were really, really long. I was staying up all night. I was sleeping in all day, and I did nothing but play Persona all day long. It's kind of weird to think about it. It's weird to think about just playing a game nonstop because I haven't had an experience like that since. And here is why I absolutely love the game. Persona 4 is a JRPG with social elements. There's also a mystery happening, and so everyone has a purpose. We're all driven toward a goal. And as I played the game, you get tons of time in a high school setting to make friends with whoever you want and to spend your days getting closer to people who have all their own arcs. And even with Persona 4 Golden, there is a lot more extra cutscenes where they are just having fun. It just like they're going snowboarding or they're going to the beach, having their beach episode. And I got completely immersed in that world and convinced myself for a brief period of time that I was not alone in my apartment and that I really had friends in a deep social connection with people. I left playing Persona 4 feeling so sad that it was over, to just feel that realization that really I've been days alone in my bedroom and I am in a place of feeling quite scared and hopeless, but I had so much relief and optimism from Persona 4. Persona 4, along with the other Persona games, is a meta genre in a way, because it's telling you the constructs of its story and of its system as you're going through it. So it tells you right away, you are an empty vessel. You are the nameless, faceless character, and you are going to create your own destiny through your social connections. I love that in Persona 4, they have a classroom section where they explain all of the Jungian psychology influences, what a true self is, what a persona is, what a shadow is, and also its use of arcanas and archetypes. That is all Jungian inspired. Now that I even know more about Jungian psychology, it is a big giant love letter to Carl Jung. It's really cool. But in this game, what they do with the arcanas is they also assign arcanas to the characters that you make social connections with. I memorized a lot of the arcanas for each of the people, and I think that this is brilliant for a game to do because you can take an archetype like the Emperor, I think, for example. Knowing the archetype, you can then construct an arc around it, and that makes that character unique. So you're not telling the same story twice about each character. But then also, it gives you a certain number of cards to play with. I love that it just explicitly tells you in the game. Whereas in something like Final Fantasy, each of the characters are tied to a planet, but that's not very explicitly told to us. It's not like, here, Tidus is the sun, there, Yuna's the moon. Nothing like that, but we get to see that just very clearly laid out in Persona 4 and in other Persona games. In this meta game, we are the Fool Arcana, which in Final Fantasy X, we're also the Fool Arcana. In The Legend of Zelda, we're also the Fool Arcana, and the Fool's journey is a very common journey. And they just tell us outright, you're the Fool. You're going on a hero's journey. There you go. No mistaking what's going to be happening in this game. The plot structure is explicit and it's very fun and meta, but then it gets real very fast. When we're dropped into the world as a high school student, basically guy with no name, guy with no origin story, doesn't matter. It's very clear it doesn't matter. We meet Dojima, who is a single father who seems to be a bit rugged, who doesn't really know how to interact with his own daughter. Seems kind of familiar. And his daughter is incredibly sweet, and she is so independent, and she's just 5 years old, I believe. There is so much show not tell, just good story development when we walk into the world of Dojima and Nanako, when Nanako is like, oh, I gotta take out the laundry. And you know, Dojima expects that of a little girl. I was blown away by how independent she was and how strange and not good of a relationship this was. And for that to be the very first interaction I saw, I thought, I'm so intrigued. This is so not something I typically see in a video game. This is not a typical JRPG. There's no swords in this game. We're just in the world, in life. Yes, I remember getting quite sucked in. But as we journey through, we see each character and their vulnerabilities that all seem so real. And everyone has talked about this, but by far the biggest stars in Persona 4 are Kanji and Naoto. I absolutely fell in love with Kanji and with Naoto, so much so that I cut my hair to this very pixie cut because I thought Naoto was so cool. As I played the game and contemplated it afterward, I wondered, what is my own shadow that I'm trying to conquer? What is my true self? And how do I get closer to my true self? The game had me contemplate the very ideas that Carl Jung was contemplating. He was somebody who journaled often and was constantly in self-reflection on his dreams and trying to figure out what the true self was. Another idea in Carl Jung's work is the collective unconscious, which in Persona 4 is the midnight channel. In Persona 5, it's the underground subway. That has changed a lot of how I thought about the world. Because for the first time, I was able to see and understand that in reality, our own collective unconscious is Twitter. That there is an organism that is so much larger than us, that is like the thoughts of everyone, the animal, basic human nature of us. And that was a major commentary that all of us have shadows. All of us have this primal evil about us that assembles into a collective unconscious and then wreaks havoc on the world. I think that that was the truth that the Persona game and all Persona games were trying to convey, and I felt that they did it so well. And so as I matured in my life, witnessing that there has been so much chaos in our lives, and also realizing that this all kind of boils down to a collective that then goes to an individual, that then goes to the shadow. And the shadow is such a unique thing because it is the things we do not see in ourselves and cannot know in ourselves. It's something that we cannot bear to even look at. And the most important thing to human healing is to to look at ourselves deeply, all of the dark parts, all of the hard parts, all of our ugliness, and to also know that we have ugliness in us. That game taught me that, and it has opened me up to a world of self-reflection, therapeutic means to improve myself. Also, Persona 4 is a game about friendship. Persona 4 does it better than 3 or 5. And friendship is major healing for attachment and for our shadows. If we are able to open up to each other and we're able to be vulnerable and authentic, we become better collectively. And I believe that. I think the reason I love Persona 4 so much is because I thought that the game was, through its themes and through its storytelling, it was deeply layering inside myself what I thought was the truth. A truth about the world. And that is an element that always has to be there when I think, wow, that changed my life. It is now one of the best games of all time forever for me. I have played Persona 4 several times now, and I've also streamed Persona 4. And my last time streaming Persona 4, I'm not sure if I could stream it ever again. Thankfully, I've watched the animated series with Stefan, and I can revisit the animated series whenever I want. It's just that now I know the story so well, and their dialogue goes on and on and on, and I'm actually kind of not sure how I even was able to take it at the time that I did. I think it was because I wanted that length. I just wanted to sit there and be with people because of just how lonely I was. And their banter and their back and forth just filled me up. Thanks so much for listening to me talk about Persona 4. And if you want to talk more about Persona 4 or anything Persona related, let me know in the comments what topic interests you about Persona 4. Would you want to have more Arcana talk? Because we can definitely talk more about Arcanas and how the games use those Arcanas. I find that endlessly fascinating. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Bye, everyone!